Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You're tuning into the exciting game of UCI versus Western Ontario. You're looking at the team that UCI or Western will be facing off tomorrow against in the championship. Maryville scouting their opponents here as they watch from the crowd cheering on both teams.
And I hear a lot of support for Western, actually. Yeah. They seem to have their team picked. Some UWO chants coming out of them.
Giving a lot of props to Western Ontario. I'm sure Maryville would love to go up against them, see who can take the championship there instead of have to go up against defending champions UCI, because they are looking pretty hot right now.
They are, but they're also looking a little vulnerable. That last game, after starting pretty well for them, they grabbed the first Baron buff. Think, oh, they've got this for sure. They just grabbed 2 inhibitors. Out of nowhere, a couple catches, couple engages later, and suddenly we're in game 5 out of nowhere.
That's the thing, is a lot of the early game is scrappy. You get a few 5v5s to the Barons, and then it seems like they wait for this culmination of that huge fight that could mean either base. We've had it twice already. Western Ontario has been able to bite back on both of those in experiences and take it all the way to the Nexus. So we'll see. Maybe they're the ones that are playing the trap card for the late game here to make Irvine fall into that false sense of security.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I like the idea of mostly focusing on a strong team fight. The Orianna and the Sivir seem to favor them a little bit more. A little bit more strength in the laning phase because the Jinx was too far into the late game team fighting. But the Sivir was a good bridge champion. And then I like that they still keep Gorica on some kind of split push carry. You want it to be something that scales pretty well, but overall, I feel like with some of the bans that they've thrown at Captain Nuke to knock him off his favorite champions, they have done a good job of being able to get Gorica ahead and into a important winning situation.
And honestly, just props to him. The champion pool he's been able to bring to the table, the versatility he has for the team, either top laner for the squads, really a lot of props to them for how they have been able to help manage strategies for the team throughout the tournament. 10 seconds left here on the side of Irvine as we see Hecarim locked in. That Jace was hovered. Still not a lot of play going to him after the first few days of a tournament here at the event.
Feels a little bit like a trap card for Collegiate. If you're not very good at closing games out with the Jace, oftentimes you make one mistake, you fall behind, you lose your flash, and suddenly you're dying multiple times. So I like that neither team is kind of reaching for it here in this context. Still a very strong champion in the competitive scene, but probably not right for a lot of people. Here, UCI reaching for some of their supports a little earlier. Bloodwater has received a fair amount of bans in the second phase, so decided they don't want to wait for that.
So they want an initiation for sure this time. They didn't really actually have a way to get into that fight last time and say, hey, this is ours. We want to make it happen. The Yumi, the Jarvan was there, but the follow-up under Nexus turrets doesn't really have enough fast, brother. Orianna gets locked in, feels good. Kled is there too, so these are a lot of the champions we've actually been seeing, in fact, in the second phase bans that are getting onto the list. Gorica gets his champion, the Hecarim's going to the jungle, and Slasher again blinds that Orianna towards mid.
Yeah, and I feel like it's a little surprising to see their entire top side locked in with no flex between them available. The Hecarim is often a flex pick, but here with the Kled already showing, you know he's going jungle. Julius did have a good game, and we're just seeing completely different sides of the map locked in.
Yeah, where's the first Sylas for either? It's always been traded with the Aatrox, so that's different. Sylas could come through, could be banned. Second phase here, as it is going to be a mid lane focus for Western, at least with a few of those, or at least one of them. It is going to go to Avi for the first, with Elise after Sivir from UC Irvine. They have 20 seconds left for their final decision.
I like the Sivir ban. I thought that was a very strong champion for short hop. They missed one all-in, almost got a kill, then got another one. And even though they fell behind as the game went on, eventually it was short hop at the end of those fights playing cleanup duty and getting a lot of kills. So I like that ban out of UCI. We'll see what else they end up taking off the table. Elise ban is a little surprising for me. Avi feels like he's at his best on a very specific set of champions that have strong early games and then a lot of good team fighting later. Elise doesn't quite fall into the good team fighting role.
Jarvan can be back up on the list. They take it away. Remember, he still has the Zac. Hard initiation on that. Doesn't really have to protect too much of the squad in this one with the Galio being in there, and it gives him another initiation. Rek'Sai, they think he'll be dipping in with. We'll see. I'd actually love to see the Zac in this composition. They kind of ran a Nocturne with this, right? They had the Bloodwater on Yumi. They were able to get in really deep. Now they have the Galio. Could be the Xin Zhao. A lot of dive buddies here with the Aatrox And they have a formidable fight squad coming out here. They have to be careful about how much they bunch up, though.
Yeah, very strong early game. Not going to want to let that kind of late game team of Western get off the ground. The Oriana and Hecarim both times comboing together quite well in the previous game, but Xin Zhao is going to have a lot more to say about that early.
Might have put a wrench in things, chatting with the coach. A little behind, saying Caitlyn will be good for the laning phase here. You can harass out Kaisa, stay away from the taunt and Justice Punch of Galio for Bloodwater. What's that final pick?
There's the Caitlyn, all right.
Yeah, looking for a top laner here. Or I'm sorry, looking for that support, rather. Unless you're gonna get support Kled.
Who knows?
Bear trap on a rope.
The Thresh again.
Thresh again. It was,
won them the game.
Big hook. All the way from Nexus to Nexus. Final pickup here. Mid lane for Descraton. He has let the pick go all the way through. Silas is still available. If it's not first, maybe it's last. We'll have to see for him.
Yeah, the Silas has been
Sweet ults.
sort of middling, I would say. Sometimes it looks okay, never looks terrible, but it doesn't stand out. And so Descraton going back to the Victor in the mid lane. A decently strong matchup into Oriana. It's been a while since we have seen Oriana and Victor played. Multiple patches, changes to the champion and their build paths, but back in the day, Victor was strong into Oriana.
A decent long windup for that auto. Easy to hit her with the laser. The laser beams will keep a track of Descraton's upgrades as he goes through those Hextech evolutions. And keep an eye on Captain Nuke and Gorka here. They actually have a lane where they're going to be fighting each other. It's not a tank versus AD. It's not this versus that. It's something they can bring to the fight together. Get a war going on that top side. We'll see if Avi and Julius make their way top. Will defending champions University of California, Irvine get a chance to head back towards the finals to face off against Maryville University, or will Western Ontario dash those hopes and try to bring the championship trophy home for the collegiate scene? We will have to see here. They will face off against Maryville. Whoever takes this game, that will be tomorrow in a best-of-5 series. Let's see what homework they've done here for Game 5, though, as we're about to get on the Rift.
Yeah, both teams all series long have made a ton of adaptations in the draft, what they're banning, what they're picking, and even this late into the series, we're seeing some new picks brought out. The Xin Zhao and the Victor on the side of UCI. We have seen the Caitlyn actually before, so for the most part, similar picks, but the Kled coming out of nowhere for the most part.
I like it. It was banned. We'll actually see why it was banned, if it is that formidable on the Rift. Pretty safe summoners all around. Nobody's choosing anything crazy. Usually with the Yuumi, you get a bit of a switch up towards that bot lane. You can go a safe summoner or just a teleport back to lane. And we have a quick sideline report with Alvali and Western Ontario's coach.
Thanks, guys. Coach Leto, that last game, it looked like you guys were out of it. They were at your base and almost at your nexus, but you turned it around. Final game, how are you guys going to come back and take this?
Well, the Rioter came to our room to get us because she thought it was over for us when they were pushing our Nexus, and I told her, it's not over yet. We still have another game to win after this. And I knew that our team would pull it through, and they did. We have our players all on their comfort picks. Caitlyn's been our all-time high for the entire season. Thresh is something we picked up in the last 2 months. Oriana's our best mid, and our top laner is a Kled one-trick. So I think we're honestly on all comfort picks. They drafted with something else in mind that we honestly weren't even planning for. And I don't know, I think it's just going to be easy if they all stay calm and collected.
Well, thank you so much, and wishing you the best of luck. Back to you guys.
Thank you very much. Confidence there from Coach Leto.
Yeah, should be easy if everyone just plays perfectly. And I think I like what he said about, kind of highlighting the Caitlyn, not just in terms of the comfort level, as Julius kind of doesn't quite get the double camp clear at once. But we were talking about how we kind of wanted a stronger laning champion that still scales well into the late game. That's kind of what Caitlyn is able to do. Does have a bit of a deficit in kind of the mid game, but with Kaisa not being quite as strong on 2 items as when the Ginsu's was far and away the best pick, it's not quite as much of a problem as it was on the previous patch.
Easy CS in all 6 of the first wave there is young Youngbin looking to pick up the next few. Nice. I like it. He knows he hasn't gone bottom, so he's going to say, all right, you did Krugs, but...
Well, it's actually a little bit of a weird path, all things considered, for what he's done here. I mean,
he sees to come across the river, so he's like, I don't actually want to go to my Raptors right now. I'm going base.
Yeah, I think, I don't know if he knew the Xin was there, but, you know, Julius wanted to kind of clear both those camps at the same time, didn't get that leash, just went for the Krug.
Yeah.
And it instantly goes for the reset, doesn't want to potentially meet him in the river. And there's no, the Skulls spawn later now, so there's no reason to really try and get down to that bot river early. So just recalls and goes up to clear to the top side and leaves what he thinks is cards up for a while. Well done, all things considered.
Wasting a bit of time. 3 Raptors are left in the camp, so he was able to get the big one and get away with a bit of experience there. You saw the damage on him. Julius back to his jungle. We'll see if he tries to hover topside at all. With that 3-minute 15 mark is now Scuttle spawning. It'd be good for his in. He can get there at a higher level and start just duking it out, but it's not going to be the case this game.
Yeah, Gorka taking the Ignite as well on the top lane, so not going to be teleporting down to any place. Something that Short Hop and Blaze Nova have to be aware of, the fact that they are always a little disadvantaged unless they're able to force the TP out of Captain Nuke for lane.
See this from both junglers in this game. They say, you know what? I think you're in my jungle. I'm going right across mid. I don't care if they have vision on me. Bot lane's pushing in for Youngbin and Bloodwater. They should be good against Short Hop here. Short Hop has it just about that 75% mark. Easy to farm just outside the turret. Feels good. Be careful how big that wave gets, though, as it starts to become a little bit more difficult, as you can be harassed. But they know what they're doing. Pings go down towards the top side, letting them know to the junglers. Vision is here. Don't give up that info if you're crossing over this area. Interested to see how this lane goes. Kleds can always be pretty tricky, like more of a skill matchup, unless it's just somebody he can bear trap on a rope and take over the lane kind of thing.
And it feels often like a lot of the Captain Nuke lanes feel like they decide the game. When he had his Rumble performance, he absolutely crushed the laning phase and was a big part of their win. Has had some troubles like with the Jax game where his team did not come up to help him at all and kind of got torn apart that game. And here with the Aatrox and the Kled down the Ignite, you feel like he should have a bit of a tough time in that lane, but we'll have to see.
Ooh, Flash actually got both with that one. Very nicely done. I don't know if there's going to be enough follow-up for Youngbin. He got that speed off of his ability in, so they get themselves to safety. They know where Julius is, but it's going to be no gank opportunity for Avi to return.
Yeah, I mean, very successful gank, though, grabbing 2 flashes for 1 out of the Blaze Nova, as well as chunking them out a little bit. Nice gank. Pretty well played by UCI for the most part for getting out of there. Didn't impact it too much, but Bloodwater got the taunt in the middle of the charge, so pretty cute stuff.
Great play by Blaze Nova as well. Like you said, his flash is down. Interesting to hear that that's picked up within the last few months, the coach said, having Thresh.
You would think Thresh is almost like, we were talking earlier about, off camera with a couple of players about like how every lane feels like it has a signature champion. Like Orianna is the mid lane one. Feels like Thresh is kind of the signature support champion that everyone loves to play. Lee Sin in the jungle, So it's surprising here. Yeah, Blaze Nova picked it up. Maybe he means more of a team setting. We started playing it recently.
Yeah, oh, for sure. I'm sure Blaze has gotten on that quite a bit. The synergy is quite good from Short Hop and Blaze Nova in that composition. You're pushed up to the turret. One attack on that. Yeah, easy. I'm seeing good CSing. Sometimes the pros blow your mind with how they actually grab all the CS or what they decide to do or the amount of damage on their abilities to make it so on the caster wave.
Yeah, my #1 player to watch for farming patterns is always Froggen.
Really?
Mid lane.
Oh, yeah.
He knows every champion's little ins and outs to set up the perfect farming.
That's so true. I think about it. His Anivia is awesome to watch, and his Lux is also.
Lux, yeah, exactly.
His Lux is so clean on each wave.
Yeah.
That's something I definitely remember. 6:30 on the clock. Looks like pretty even on the bot side, 45-56, not too much of a discrepancy there. Here's her first bear trap on a rope, connecting for a possible gank. Remember, there's an Ignite top, which they have to remember. Definitely turn the fight around. We get a little bit of action, though, as level 5's hit here on the bot side. Blaze Nova down to about 400 HP. Short Hop the same, but 300 HP. It's Youngbin going deep, and his support had already left him on the TP. Gotta stay behind the big guy on that one. Youngbin goes down.
Yeah, and I was talking about TP advantages. I was mostly focusing on Captain Nukes in the top lane, but with both junglers kind of standing around there. Hold on. Slasher face checking a little bit.
It's like Chaos Storm rains on the parade just a little bit, but they get to safety with the Lantern.
So I was talking about the Captain Nuke teleport. He actually used that to lane, was not thinking about the unsealed Spellbook Orianna, the fact that she was able to join in on that team fight. With both junglers showing up in the top side, kind of getting into a scrappy 2v2 off camera. Avi did lose his flash in that skirmish. You know, Captain Nuke, even if he had a CP available, was not going to be able to collapse down into that. So feels like UCI kind of lost track of the fact that the mid laner for Western could grab that teleport and join in that fight.
Ignite for him in the mid lane. Now we'll see how it happened. And it looks like he had that teleport up. So yeah, he was ready to go down. Good trigger on that. Oh, Youngbin going a little too hard, thinking that that heal wasn't going to be ready.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Bloodwater at full HP maybe could have, you know, if there wasn't a TP coming in, they probably could have won that fight for the side of UCI. So really well done baiting that. Here, just the ignite damage, not ready for Avi to actually get that kill. Actually did find the solo kill, missed that from happening.
Yep.
Orica and the 1v2, the Kled one trick. You heard the coach calling it out.
Oh, one trick feeling good, and that might be the moment where you're like, oh, he has ignite. That's right. Yeah, we got to remember that. But those moments are the ones that cost you quite a bit if the advantage is pressed now. Tiamat in that top lane for Gorka. He's going to be pushing Captain Nuke in, so that means he'll have lane priority and not a lot of pressure coming out of the top lane. Teleport was used to get back for Captain Nuke. I'm sure Gorka is going to keep it pressed on him.
Yeah, and the other thing too, Julius having picked up a fair amount of lane XP from people in the bot lane and in the top lane now, up to level 7. Avi just hitting level 6, so big advantage for Julius, as well as the fact that the early game has not gone well for UCI. The worst part of Xin Zhao's early game is out of there.
And the ever so prestigious Cloud Drake starts us off here in our game 5.
What else would you want for the college scene but another Cloud Drake?
Cloud Drake all day long. I cannot believe it. Cloud Drake for breakfast, for lunch, dinner, and dessert. Unfortunately, we can only have 3, so choose your meals wisely.
No one has to believe that. 4th meal or whatever. That was a start back in the day.
Yeah. Something like that. So taking over Cloud Drake for Avi and the team. Doesn't seem like they'll help him out too much in the beginning here. It's going to be a little bit of jungle denial from Julius as they get their hands in the pie and try to start denying more away from UCI. A great lead here for Western to start things off. That's exactly what the coach said. They have comfort in lanes, and this is what we should be seeing to start, and they should be winning it. The gank towards the top side. Captain Nuke having a little bit of deja vu from the past days of competition, doing a great job of getting himself back and forth to buy time, but it's pretty clean still by Western, and they get out with kill number 3 of the game.
Yeah, and Captain Nuke lost his flash with that dive. Not much going. As the best that UCI can do in this trade back is some turret plating on the mid lane, but you're still definitely going to take that if you're Western Ontario now. And suddenly game 5 starting to look pretty good for them.
Safe pathing by Slasher. High five there to him. Big props.
Yeah, learned his lesson from his last Orianna game in game 3.
Lord knows I would have ran down river for that one.
Uh-oh. I'll be in a bit of a weird spot here.
Bit of the sweep. Spirit of the Dread goes down. He gets knocked back down to 300 HP. Just a few more helicopter whirls, but the turnaround comes in. Chaos Storm is not going to be there to start things off. Looks like it's thrown down quite late, actually, as it does go off. Got to be careful. Blaze could actually hit the diagonal hook up to about 11 o'clock here if he wants. And they are not going to throw it. Blue buff is up. It would have denied him that. Bottom lane is now hovering over here. Youngbin and Bloodwater come up. What a crazy roam by each team here as we get a bit of an 11-minute scuttle.
Yeah, but Western Ontario is still coming out better overall on the team coordination. Gorica collapsing first, Captain Nuke just respawning, not being able to join in there, as well as the fact that Blaze Nova got there way earlier than Bloodwater and Youngbin, despite the fact that Bloodwater should have that long-range ult to collapse in on fights, same with Youngbin. So really nice cleanup there. Well fought by Descraton to potentially kind of bait that one out with the heal coming in, but the Chaos Storm ticked its last tick.
Yeah.
Didn't have any extra damage to finish anyone off.
Quick clean up. 82 to 56. A great game by Julius here on the hack room. It does seem like they've pushed Avi onto something he's not feeling very comfortable with. They weren't able to get the early aggression that he was looking for, and now he is kind of on the chase game of where Julius might be and how they can get back into this game. But great forward ward at some point placed in the pink vision down by the red buff of UCI. Nicely done. Should be living for quite a while.
I mean, they've had a lot of control around the top side of the map, being able to push in multiple times. Snuck it in there at some point. Now they know Ovi has not returned to his jungle somewhere. As much as he wants that Rift Herald, Rift Herald wants him more.
Forever.
And I think that's a big problem that UCI is running into this game. Ovi in a lot of their games is kind of the catalyst, the Kickstarter, and him dying multiple times early. He went for that aggressive invade, but didn't find it. Julius with some great pathing to dodge out on that. And now the Hecarim with 2 kills is so far ahead, and Western as a whole up 2K. The scaling is relatively equal, I would say, all things considered. But if it's equal, you want to be the one ahead.
Very, very
You always
true.
want to be the one ahead, actually. Let me let you in on a secret. Only us pros know.
You bait him into that false sense, and then that's when you get him. Sometimes it works, and that's the best part, is when it works, right?
Yeah, when it works. And especially in a game where both team comps want to play relatively similarly, mostly 4-1 compositions that still have good team fighting. When team comps have the same win conditions, it's very hard to play from behind, because that 100% means that you're going to have to execute them on the same win conditions, where, oh, we had a harder carry from another position potentially, or a split push or a 1-3-1. Not the case here. Seems like Rivington might have had a bit of a problem with his microphone. We'll see if we can get that sorted out. In the meantime, you're stuck with me. Good push right here for UCI, as Julian is showing up now to try and collapse. Turret plating drops. They got a little bit more gold in their favor right before that happens. Gorica in the top lane looking for some trades. Not much going on. There's a slight timing window right now where, despite the gold deficit, UCI should be stronger. Victor with some Hex Core upgrades done, as well as the Storm Rager unlocked on Kaisa, should be in their favor, while Caitlyn still doesn't have the first item completed. Same with the Orianna.
I'm back.
Damn!
Yeah.
I was having fun.
So quick. You did a great
You
job.
ruined my fun.
I was waiting for the fight to come through. I'm sad.
You want to see me play-by-play? You got this one.
Captain Nuke almost going down. World Ender's going to keep him alive. Gorica actually going in with the ultimate real quick there. And looks like they were able to get out alive, but ult for ult. Now the bot lane fight goes down. It's the box keeping Blaze Nova in. He's going to get the flash over the wall, but they were waiting for that killer instinct to kick in for Youngbin. Are they going past the turret? It looks like Julius is going to have to put himself in the sacrificial bin here for just a moment. That's a kill going over, but no assist going to the top laner of Captain Nuke.
Well done by UCI, kind of fighting on that power spike that I was talking about, where they have a little bit of a item advantage in the bot lane. Now they're trying to transition that to the mid lane, as well as utilizing that teleport advantage. University of Western Ontario did a great job initially of abusing getting the teleport out of Captain Nuke, but this time Captain Nuke is there to collapse. Unfortunately for him, did not participate in either of the kills that happened, so UCI doing a good job clawing back, getting the goal lead equal, but it might not be over yet.
Oh, very nice flash to stop the Justice Punch. Quick thinking by Gorica, and they are definitely going to give this kill over to Short Hop. Nicely delivered to the AD. Now 2-0 for his Caitlyn, that favored champion for the AD.
And we got an Infernal Drake spawn. We'll have to see if the fighting continues for this one. No blood water, so it might be difficult to try and contest it.
Yeah, super easy. I'm like, Captain Nuke's going to stay top. Teleport's not there. Rift Herald? Drake going over now to UCI as they grip up Infernal. 2 for them. Or I should say 1 for them is the second Drake of the game. Ocean next, not a Cloud. Look at that, diversity.
What's going on?
We're getting the D20 roll in here this time. So it looks like it'll be a little bit of sustain coming into the next. We're getting 3 different elementals to start things off. We'll see how much that actually draws attention down towards the bot side. Having that first Ocean Drake is quite great, especially if you're ahead, to keep that pressure on. As we now have Slasher to that side lane. We've seen this transition quite a bit from Ontario. Once they get a bit of the map moved around and they can get Short Hop out of that long lane, they start getting people into the short and taking down the rest of the turrets.
Yeah, this is one of the parts of the game where Caitlyn does tend to struggle as the turrets start dropping. She probably wants to be mid lane on wave clear duty, but if you already have a mage who wants to be there as well, suddenly in these long lanes you have someone who doesn't want to be there. Caitlyn is often the one stuck in that situation.
Feels weird when you're not ready to break the lane. You got to share with everybody else. Nobody gets the first core item at the right time. It's all got to be done in a perfect dance. Nice Rift Herald coming out of UCI. They are putting those objectives on their plate that will give them an advantage whenever they want. Keep a strong play going if they seem like they're falling behind. Right now, they're only, they're ahead 200 gold, I should say, with being able to drop the turrets on the map.
Yeah, still a really good turnaround for UCI. 3 turrets to 0 does mean that at some point, University of Western Ontario will start to swing the gold lead back in their favor. A number of the turrets are, though, especially the top one. Mid and bot are relatively healthy, but more standing gold on the Rift for them to grab should they find a successful play.
Double vision ping by UCI. Avi and the team know quite well what is up there if they try to get to engage in. It doesn't look like they'll actually have Blazed Nova head up to help Gorica. He says, nah, go to the side lanes. Let's get the push in the middle. Let's make sure we have everything else pushed up. You can keep me safe with wards. That's all I need.
Still scared to walk forward, and this is exactly what we were saying is the difficult part of the game for Caitlyn Orianna compositions. Orianna's in the side lane, not where she loves to be. Caitlyn doesn't want to walk forward without people around her. Even though she does have the net to escape, it's not the longest range escapes. See the Rift Herald. We'll see where they try and drop it. All 3 turrets down means there's not an obvious place that Avi wants to go with it.
Ooh. Oh, dive under the turret. Gravity field. Oh, nice job. I thought he was going to be on it for a bit too long or try to go behind the turret, but out with Onslaught of Shadows. They get a kill onto Deskraton. It doesn't really relieve too much pressure on the map. Good money, though, for the 4-1-0 Hackerum Julius to get going.
Make me eat my words, though. Slasher finds a good trade in the bot lane to get him low, and then Julius has the inside track on any potential play that would happen. You see, trade, pretty equal there, and maybe Deskraton could have won it if there was no pony behind him, but the Cavalry comes in and gets the cleanup kill. That's Julius's 3rd kill of the game. Starting to get closer and closer to that Triforce. Will become much more menacing than the Xin Zhao, as well as the fact that he'll have some shields on top of him from both the Orianna and the Thresh.
Real big horse now. We actually have seen Hackerum doing quite a bit of damage throughout this series. Avi having it last time to control the early part of the game until Western took over in the final punch. And now they carry a bit of that momentum here into game 2, or game 5. Numbers? Into game 5, our final one of the series at 7-2. Here still in favor of Western Ontario.
Yeah, Hackerum Jungle all tournament long actually has seemingly done pretty well, and so that adaptation to first pick it away might have been the right decision to make. The priority of the series of it goes higher and higher.
Right, and the Silas falls off to absolutely nowhere throughout the series with a whole bunch of ultimates that are pretty sweet to grab, except for the Ori. Just a quick hello.
Deskraton standing his ground there saying, all right.
Are you sure about that? Gorica, he pulls back. He gets himself down to bot lane, understands kind of the vision of what's going on in that situation. And they don't have too much on their own side. Blue defensive, pink wards, but nothing here on the bottom to know that Bloodwater is setting up a whole line of security, and they're going to be able to get this Ocean Drake in their favor, most likely, or at least have the vision to return the fight after getting back. They're not going anywhere.
Feels like the game has slowed down a lot with the turrets dropping.
No.
Both teams feeling the pressure of the moment. Game 5, elimination game. Western Ontario has the hopes of Canada on their shoulders. It would be the first finals appearance for their team. UCI, it's almost the expectation that they should be making it back. So that they were the tournament favorites. They're the defending collegiate champions. So they have a lot of people expecting them to get there.
And Columbia College was another name that was in there that's no longer. So a lot of the things that swung this tournament in Western Ontario showing the strength that they have in this composition. And as a team to go up against UCI, taking them to 5 games. A hometown crowd trying to cheer on UCI.
Yeah, there's that
Defending
kind
champs
of
doing what they can.
awkward Rift Herald that we kind of felt was coming without a clear outer turret to try and focus with it. Don't really have pressure in any of the 3 lanes. It is a pretty stalemated game, and so Shelly gets sacrificed to the gods in the mid lane.
Good bodyguard by Bloodwater. It's going to be 2 Drakes over to the side of UCI. Another Cloud Drake next. Gotta have them. Now we're 22 minutes into the game. Obviously, a little bit of this vision now gets focused on Baron. I'd like to see more pink wards, or at least one always placed up towards the top side of the map. Very, very valuable. And there's one for you. Not going to help too much, but keep Youngbin alive as he tries to escape these situations and get himself even more farmed.
Yeah, Dragons are a little strange here with Western getting the Infernal, probably the most valuable of them, with the Cloud and the Ocean going over. Rift Herald did buy them the priority to pick that one up, but it's not like it was a high priority Drake, and while it was the correct macro play, it's unfortunate that they couldn't get either a more valuable Drake or a turret with it.
About 1,000 gold on Gorica right now. He's pushing down towards the bot, so he doesn't have much chance to go back. Actually getting that Executioner's Calling out quite early as well, so he can make sure that Captain Nuke isn't too much of a hassle to fight. Good purchase there, along with Titanic Hydra, to keep that fight going and just kind of punch his opponent in the face.
Yeah, Aatrox with the rework. He always had a fair amount of sustain in the kit, but with the insane boosts that come in with his ultimate, you definitely want to pick up an Executioner's Calling at some point. And after that, you know, kind of initial pressure that Captain Nuke felt from the Ignite, and Avi kind of dying in the 1v2. Surprisingly gone even, but here we go. Here's the Cloud ult.
It might have been a win lane, but still a question if it's win game at this point. Ultimate for ultimate. Shockwave and entrance miss from Galio and Orianna. Avi goes in, looks like he's going low, going to be the first one down, but that is actually going to be Blaze Nova that falls. Shorthawk trying to get out of the fight. A shot coming in from Youngbin, but he just misses as they lose Julius. Now Gorica to flash over the wall. What a fight coming in from UCI as they turn the tables on Ontario.
Gorica came flying in, but they could not find a single target to actually lock down, and so UCI finds the turn that they need. Oh, Youngbin trying to flash his Q on top of him before the recall was completed, not able to do that. Not going to look for the Baron buff, not confident that they can pull it off quite yet. Instead, just going to look for some turrets, and a slight gold swing in their favor ends up being a 3-4-1.
The swings that are going back and forth from these fights as soon as 5 meet in the mid lane. We'll see it one more time here. What was the initiation?
There's a problem there.
Again, it was the missed hit.
Yeah, it wasn't an initiation. They tried to find it, but they couldn't actually lock onto anyone. The Orianna Shockwave whiffed as well, and now they're all clumped up. The flank is coming in from the Aatrox as well as the giant AoE damage. Youngbin's able to ult onto the back line, so they instantly evaporate both the mid laner and the support. If they don't find clean engages and pickoffs to the start of this fight, it is pretty difficult. You know, if the Orianna Shockwave's there, who knows how that fight looks. Both teams have very strong AoE, but at this point in the game, Caitlyn probably a little weaker than the Kai'Sa, and
you got a huge Chaos Storm out of that from Deskerton.
Yeah, that's the differences of the mid lane mages landing their abilities or not.
Big damage. 150 gold bounty on him now. 350 gold altogether from Gorica and Shorthop if they've stayed decently ahead of their lanes and ahead of the pace of the game here. 1,000 gold lead in the favor of UCI as they take control of the game, but you can see Western Ontario is not stopped by this, and they are not pushed back at all. Right to the mid lane to take this down. The train's running down the tracks. You better be watching out if you're on the rails, Deskerton. A few more attacks. Ace Nolo, he dodges his own jungler. Unfortunate. He did not look before he leaped and put himself in a dangerous spot.
Did save the turret with his death, though, so maybe not the end of the world here, though. Youngbin caught out.
That's not what you want to have your AD carry with the top laner. Beautiful job. The distance was just a Gorica, but he found the direction to go and instantly trampled over by Julius as he runs into the team of Ontario, who had mid pressure. After just losing a 5v5, they are right back onto the Rift to do it again. But win this time.
Contest onto this Baron, but it's dropping so fast. They're not actually going to look for it. Captain Nuke runs up the mid lane. And Western Ontario going to convert this into the first Baron of Game 5.
Another swing there through the fights. What a hit coming in from UWO. You can hear the chants coming from the crowd. I know Maryville's happy about these fights. We'll see it one more time. So the pressure here for Deskerton. Turret's obviously going down. He stays just too close. And this unfortunate flash. Avi even tries to find him at the last moment. It happens. And then again here at the blue buff with Youngbin and Gorica.
Yeah, just doesn't know how much vision he's running through. So the Kled is able to find the ult on top of him. Doesn't land the bear trap on the rope, but still forces the ult out. And after, like you said, that mid lane play happened, there's no priority there, so it gets clapped on instantly. And I gotta wonder after that fight that UCI won in the mid lane, if they could not have forced the Baron. It was 4-man It was Avi who was dead on their team, but Orica had no
Short hop
HP.
had no HP.
Yeah, they had to go back to base. You probably could have grabbed it. You had Ginsu's Rage Blade completed onto Kaisa, and because the Baron was on the map, Western is able to convert that into their own.
The timid decisions here in the last and final moments of a Game 5 are definitely deciding the knife's edge. That call by UCI could have been a Baron. It's now in the hands of Ontario as they decided correctly. They're going to use this now for the mid lane. This did not go down before. It was the dive. Will they be able to focus on just that? Having the minion just out of range is not going to help short hop for the time being. Youngbin has to be real careful. You still have a distance disadvantage there against the Caitlyn. Shot comes in. They are finally able to capitalize on mid lane turret. Still 4-2 in turrets. They're going to have to work the minion waves as well if they want to get to the next one. They have the pressure now. They move up their vision on the shoulders, and they won't be flanked. They now have pressure for the mid lane. Not a lot of clear between Victor and Bloodwater on these Baroned up minions. A lot of the focus is down towards the bot side. UCI's energy a bit misused here, but they're trying to keep up more objectives, and they're saying, we're going to have to let a few go in mid.
And that's that standing goal we were saying was available for Western with all those outers not being taken. Baron buff combined with that is generating them a pretty massive lead. They're going to rotate up to the top lane, surely, to grab the one standing outer up there just for that gold intake. Luckily for UCI, this does not feel like a back-breaking Baron buff. You will fall behind, you will lose out on a fair amount of gold, but there's no inhibitors that are going to drop with this as long as you don't lose a fight.
A little bit more scary if these were all second-tier turrets that were falling down. A lot more work to do, though. This sets up a very nice cushion. It jumps a 4,000 gold lead. You can see it's coming from the Baron, the top right of your screen. The entire play they've had since taking the objective has accrued that much gold, and here possibly even more, but the end of Baron can get you into a sticky situation. They have to be carried.
It's going.
It's hard to defend, but it's easy to get engaged on at these turrets. Youngbin with a nice Zanyas. He's going to get Bloodwater in there to get him a bit of help as he flashes to safety. Descraton's low. They need to back off, and they might have lost pressure on the turret here. Captain Nuke's ultimate is down. They're definitely going to have the ultimate from the Kled to get back in, but that's just the pressure to push off UCI, and a second turret is found in the top lane as well.
A cute attempt by Youngbin, but a little uncoordinated. Bloodwater was a little slow on the ultimate. Hard to say if that was communication or whatnot, but for whatever reason, the Galio ult came in a little late. Still well played to Zanya's out, or excuse me, stopwatch out of the Orianna Shockwave, but Descraton, I'm not quite sure what it was, but probably a Caitlyn headshot or something really dropped him low.
Yeah, he got nuked.
Was looking like a decent team fight. No deaths, but more turrets dropping. The gold continues as well.
Very, very decent grab on that Baron power play for UWO. And they now sit in a pretty position, or a pretty good position, I should say. 3-0 on that Caitlyn. Short hop is going to need quite a bit of protection from Blaze Nova. Might be looking for that command protect as well from Slasher right after they get a nice shockwave initiation. All easier said than done. You're going up against now choke points on the base of UCI. A beautiful spot for that Xin Zhao to get in. Great spot for Desecration to throw down a Chaos Storm and Bloodwater to get it in and taunt the team. So they have to be very careful about their next steps closing in to UCI's base.
Yeah, both teams have incredible zone control. Not just Descraton and Bloodwater, but also Orianna and Caitlyn. Fantastic at dropping that ball down, putting traps down. So many things that make it difficult for UCI to vision check as this Baron buff gets close to respawning. They're gonna have to be very careful about how they walk forward as a group, make sure that no one is isolated.
Slasher onto Ghost for the next fight. Like, he can get in close, get out of Bloodwater's initiation if it comes in, get away from Captain Nuke if he's got that movement speed from the ult. Good choice on the Summoner Unsealed Spellbook. Keeping themselves safe and protecting each other for these next fights. UCI, they know there's a way to win these fights. UWO is being very tentative about engaging, so that doesn't happen.
Luckily for Western, Caitlyn is kind of through her weakest part of the game.
Yep.
Her mid-game has been improved ever since those Caitlyn changes we were talking about, but now with the triple crit item and Runan's Hurricane, you are kind of a team fight monster, and even more so once you start picking up your last couple items, being able to pelt people for 1K plus crits from thousands of units away.
Looking at inventories, 31, coming up on 32 minutes. Stopwatch plays possible from Nuke and Descraton. You're also looking at those in Slasher's inventory and Blaze Nova. So a lot of initiation on them can be thwarted, mitigated at death by a stopwatch play. Sometimes it just puts you in an even worse spot, but worth noting here, when you are going for those kill shots, if they can stay alive and buy a little bit more time, that could mean the fight. Eyes on those members, but also eyes on the ADs. They'd have very pivotal roles so far in these fights. Short hop, 3-0 and 0. 3 items finished with a quick silver sash to keep himself safe. And a bit of that sustain now with the scepter. Go ahead and solos out Ocean for the team. 3 Drakes to 2 now as we're going to start getting the Elder Drake on the map.
Last Elemental Drake evens it out for what Western has compared to UCI, plus 1 Infernal Drake. So pretty happy about that.
Getting back to that GA life, I feel like I'm watching Moscow 5.
Yeah, you're going to see a couple more of these come up,
Yep,
I'm sure.
you can see the chain vests already.
Yep, Zin's going to be building one. We'll have to see if that's what Short Hop goes. Probably not, already with the QSS done. Finishes off his Mercurial. Expecting some kind of armor pen item for the last one.
Hackram technically has 2, but can only use 1.
I mean, it's pretty common for a lot of people to treat those as a one-time use. Maybe I'll win the game off this play where you're able to ult in. 7 drops a giant ultimate on you, but you stopwatch it.
It feels bad, though, when you always have to use it in defense or otherwise. You're like, and good 600 gold.
I mean, there's times where you could even make the case, probably not at this point in the game, it's a little late, but there's times where it's worth it just, you know, dying and saving it for when you actually need it. Back when Annie support was a thing, it was pretty much dependent on Flash for being able to find those engages. So you get caught out of position, pre-20 minutes, just die and save your Flash when you actually want to use it the way you want to use it.
So many opportunities for the next Messiah. Who's going to do it? What's the play going to be? It's something we haven't thought about yet. I don't know if UCI has thought about this. They've been walking around the map a bit. They should have time to get there. Baron's pretty healthy here, 33 minutes into the game, 10-5. It looks like they're going to try to start off this fight. This is going to be 5,000 gold down for UCI in this fight. Junglers are not the same level. That's a bigger smite coming in for Julius by 2 levels, so he has way more true damage coming into this.
Good
not
Caitlyn
exactly
traps.
the 50-50. Good traps, yes, keeping them out of the fight. Obvi's trying to get himself to the back, but they are able to just cat and mouse enough to get Western Ontario off the Baron. That's a big win for UCI. Will they get engaged on, though? Youngbin again in a bad position. He got caught out into the blue buff last time. He's going to get taken down now by Gorica to start things off. Bloodwater to the back of the line. He resets the fight for his team, but now Captain Nuke's in a bad spot, and it's going to be Gorica. Again, going forward, Bloodwater's now in the eyes of Western Ontario, and would you believe it? It's a 3-0. Western Ontario's headed down mid.
They don't have a minion wave, though, and Avi is cutting it off, so Western's going to pivot their plans and go for the Baron buff. Potentially could have been a game-ending fight, but no minion wave to escort down 30-second death timers. It will be the second Baron of the game for Western.
Youngbin getting so ahead of himself in this positioning. He does not have a Yuumi. He doesn't have the movement speed he used to before, and again, he gets caught out by Western Ontario.
It's hard as a Kaisa. You feel so confident with how much defense and mobility you have in your kit to feel braver than you should.
Oh.
But there's so much burn damage on him. The challenging smite combined with the ignite from Pledge. Watch how much he takes just from burn after this. Wants to stay alive, just can't do it, goes down. And then Desecration trying to save his Kaisa, caught way too far forward, eats the shockwave, and is going to die as well. And that's both damage threats down. There's really no chance for them to win that fight from that point.
Complete shock and awe. They're able to activate immediately. No way to get away from this. Kled 4-0-4. Coach Leto knew what he was doing, giving comfort picks to his team as they came into Game 5.
Yeah, saving it for a rainy day, and they pulled it out in the last game. Huge performance for Gorica. Playing without the teleport, but always in the right place at the right time. Very impressive to see.
We get a last whisper coming in onto Short Hop. We can start making quick work of anybody who has these GAs, these Zanyas started up. We're finally getting some final items into the inventories. This is where it gets a little tough, we were saying before. Unless they can shock and awe another fight, Chaos Storm's going to be a little tough to get through here. The ability for the choke points to be a strong fight spot for UCI is a real thing that Western Ontario has to consider.
Yeah, good wave clear for the most part, but with that Baron
it is tough.
It's really difficult to clear those waves out. Plus the Caitlyn traps make it hard to walk forward. Captain Nuke going for the wraparound here. See if this all-in might work or if they're just going to call it off.
Slasher's going to call it off as he sees Captain Nuke there. Gorica could, however, come over, but he wants to stop the minion wave from getting too far out. They can't lose any of this pressure. They want to keep Baron on. 1 minute and 30 seconds to go with this as their minions are buffed up. Youngbin going into that overdrive to try and scare out Gorica, but he's not having any of it. Staring 3 down. His team's able to take down that mid lane. An interesting choice of back and forth there, but UWO able to come out strong.
Yeah, UCI recognizing that they can't stop the mid lane turret from dropping, so they bring some extra people down to the bot lane to clear out that minion wave ASAP. 1 minute left on the Baron buff, but Western looking like they're going to prioritize taking this Elder Dragon down as it spawns in a second here.
This is scary. They are ahead, but this is an AoE fight. Oh, never mind. Youngbin's going towards topside. They don't even want to toy with this. An interesting choice to give up so much. UCI, however, does have a damn good fight, but with all this power and the extra burn from 3 Drakes coming through, Western Ontario is looking great, but the finishing touches on soon.
And they're not going to recall. They have some of the Ocean Drake to keep
40
them
seconds
topped
left.
off. Yeah, Baron for another 40, Elder Drake for a couple minutes now, and they're going to try and end this game right here.
This is the make or break. These were the perfect decisions must be made. Quite a bit of summoners are up on both sides. Once those are down, it's just up to the abilities you have left on your full stack champions. Very, very low for him. He's able to get back to safety after the inhibitor turret, and they're playing this back and forth. Very safe. They know they have the lead. There's no reason to go for broke until they need to get that Nexus.
Yeah, Deskerton landed some very nice poke there. A laser through the creep wave to poke out Short Hop and protect his inhibitor. But that's only stemming the bleeding. They have not found their own way into the game.
Looks like Youngbin's looking for a last whisper of his own or just some item. What would he put in there?
It's hard to imagine wanting armor pen. You can actually do it. There is, like you said, a lot of GAs. What I'm saying is, it's Kai'Sa does a lot of magic.
Long swords, anyways.
And we'll have to see what he wants to go for. And Western, in the meantime, pushing up. And this was a lot of people's dark horse in the tournament. Multiple people were saying, yeah, there's the top 3 teams, Columbia, UCI, and Maryville, but the one that no one's talking about is Western, and here they stand, ready to push the former champions out of the tournament.
I didn't even realize he doesn't have an Infinity yet, so that's probably it. But it is crazy to see UCI backs against the wall here after coming out so strong in game 1. The confidence they have been coming throughout this, and they're saying, yes, we're just waiting to get to that defending champion game of the finals, but it may not happen now with the strength that Western Ontario is putting up. Strength from the top lane, great play from Slasher in the middle. Youngbin in this bot lane showing up as well, and Julius from the jungle having a fantastic game on the Hecarim. It's all coming together, and the sum of this team is definitely greater than that of UCI. Currently, Gorka coming now from that top lane as he was pushing in the wave. They want to join with the team, so they're not getting engaged on for any of these crazy fights that have just completely swung the game. It is going to be Nexus to Nexus if an ace happens for either team.
1 inhibitor remaining with the Caitlyn Orianna siege comp. It's hard to imagine how UCI gets this fight off. Captain Nuke is looking around from the backside. Is this the fight?
Goes in hard. Here comes Bloodwater with the entrance. Captain Nuke going down quite low. He's going to be resurrecting. No, Youngbin is low. Almost down. Tries to get himself healed up here. The shots come through. Kathleen Rain goes down. That hook's only going to miss because Youngbin goes down. It's going to be swept back with the flay. Huge plays coming from Western Ontario. Deskerton's going to have to do it here with Bloodwater. It's all over, and Western's going to face Maryville. The last few hits are coming through. They're going to try to run him through the base and say, walk this way, but the Nexus is in the eyes of Western Ontario. What a game! What a comeback to bring it to 5. Deskerton's going to do what he can. He'll have the wave clear there without the Baron, but I don't know if it's enough against 4 members. He gets exploded, and a 601 damage crit coming from a Short Hop. It's going to be the Nexus. It's going to be game. Western Ontario heads to the finals to take on Maryville University.
Canada's last hope rallied in game 4 when all hope seemed lost. They found the last-minute fight at the Nexus, and in game 5, find numerous team fights to secure their victory and their spot in the finals versus Maryville.
Absolutely insane heart and mental coming from this team. You can see how elated they are, obviously, for the win. But everybody came together. There was no, you had to be carried this game or this series or X. I think we can look at Youngbin for pretty scary plays in that one, but what a game here coming in from Ontario to make sure they got the victory.
Yeah, I loved everything about this team and this series from Western. At different points in time, everyone stepping up, different draft changes that were very important, giving up on the flex picks, going for the Orianna comfort, finding laning champions that also could team fight well later in the game, like the Sivir and the Caitlyn in the last 2 games for Western. The Thresh as well being monstrous for Blaze, finding that hook to save them in game 4. So many people stepping up.
UCI, the hometown heroes and defending champs, will be knocked out for this season. What a great series they put up as well, coming through with the kind of diversity and compositions, but maybe trying a little too much towards the end there. Nothing that they had really played throughout a lot of the series, and it did not seem to come together with the strength that Western Ontario was able to find on comfort picks, as we heard from the coach right before the game. It's all he needed to give them, and they just needed to play their game.
Yeah, I mean, UCI came in as such favorites, especially after taking down Columbia. 4 of the 5 returning members. Avi had a great performance then, so it looked like they came back even potentially stronger than last year, but unable to do it as Western pulled victory from the jaws of defeat.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the way that we saw Western Ontario come together makes them a very formidable opponent as well for Maryville. You saw everyone stepping up when Julius needed to. He came out huge in the jungle after being found out a few games by Avi, and he wasn't able to really get things going. Now we see, Short Hop doing what he can in the bot lane, and Blazed Nova with this Thresh coming through was definitely able to set up a lot of plays that would swing the series itself.
And I think that's what's really cool for this team is moving forward against Maryville. They have so many different looks that they can kind of throw out at the opponent, so many different champions that they have all stepped up on at different points. Yes, these are the ones that work today, and I think they made the right adaptations, but that doesn't mean the other champions won't work tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure Maryville is doing their homework today, saying, all right, we know what...
They were cheering them on the whole time.
Yeah, we know what comfort looks like. Yeah, now when you cheer them on, you're like, wait a minute, were we cheering on the right team? Is this what we wanted? I think they can understand that Kled might need to be a ban there. It's kind of that one trick, but you don't want to lose a game in a series if you don't have to something like that, right? If you can say, hey, we can ban that and afford to have the other bans easy, it's cool. You're not wasting anything.
Yeah, absolutely. So they've struck fear into the opponent's hearts, hopefully with so many of these different champions, and just super impressive how they did it too. We're talking so much about UCI being the 4th quarter team. They lost 2 games in the 4th quarter against Western when both teams had good late game team comps.
It was great late game play from both. For more on that upset, however, let's send it over to Avli for an interview with the victorious bot laner.
Thanks, Riv. Short Hop, congratulations on the win. You guys came in as the underdogs to this tournament, to this match, and you took down the returning champions, UC Irvine. So tell me about that winning moment for you and the team.
Honestly, that match was extremely stressful. We were all on our toes throughout it completely because UC Irvine's an incredible team, and we knew that if we didn't play at over 110%, we would stand no chance. So we put it all out there in the Rift, and it really showed today.
Yeah, the entire series was completely stressful, back and forth with you guys. And as the leader of the team, how are you keeping everyone calm and collected through what was a very stressful series?
Yeah, so the main thing is making sure that we honestly don't do anything stupid because we have a tendency to get really hyphy and go in on plays that we shouldn't be. I struggled a lot this series in bot lane, especially against Youngbin and Bloodwater. They're an incredible bot lane. So it was difficult for me to hold on to those reins as sort of a leader and a calm voice. But whenever we found leads and whenever I had a position in the game that I was comfortable with, it was really easy to, kind of make everyone relax because we've done these kind of compositions a million times and it's our comfort.
Now, you really popped off in the bot lane as AD carry, but this is a team game. Is there anyone else on your team that you'd like to shout out or maybe acknowledge for that series?
It's everyone. It has to be all 8 of us, including the support staff. There is no one person on this team that is the team. It's all of us as a unit working towards a collective goal, and I think every single piece of the puzzle is important. There's no specific one. Everybody did incredible today. I'm so proud.
And let's talk about the support staff and your team, because you guys are essentially a club and you are going against an entire esports program backed by UC Irvine, an entire college. So what does that win mean for you?
It just shows the talent that is at Western, right? Western is an incredible school and we have incredible talent at it. We knew that going up against all the other teams in this tournament would be an incredibly tall mountain to climb. So as a team, as a unit of 8 people, we put in all the effort, all the work we could towards scrims and practice and towards being good teammates to each other to find success today. So it means a lot.
And something else that's kind of exciting, an opportunity for you and your team. You are 1 series away from bringing the glory, the collegiate glory and title back to Canada. So how exciting would that be for you and the team?
it's gonna be an incredibly difficult task as well. Maryville, our opponents coming up, are incredibly talented, just as much so as UC Irvine was. So, I mean, if today was any testament to the skill that we have, it would show that we could probably do it. But we're gonna have to put in just as much effort, if not more, to take Maryville, and it would be incredible to win the trophy. But we got to go one game at a time at this point.
Well, you're taking on Maryville tomorrow. I believe they were in the studio just a little bit ago. Any words that you want to say to them going into that match?
They should be really scared because we've been practicing with them all week. They think they're really comfortable against us, but we got some interesting stuff ready for them that they may not know of.
I am very excited. Short Hop, thank you and congratulations again. And to wrap up the day, let's hear from Latigris at the State Farm Analyst Desk.
Thank you so much, Avali. After that 5-game series, Western pull off the win against your reigning champions, UC Irvine. And Short Hop has made it increasingly clear how much this means to him and his team to bring it back to Canada.
That's right. They are just one series away, and they brought it back from the brink of defeat because two inhibs down. It looked like the game was over on game 4. That's essentially checkmate position. They win the game and take momentum into their own hands and just steamroll game 5.
Yeah, momentum. I think that's what it is. At the game 5 situation, UCI has so much pressure on them, and we see throughout these replays that Western is getting the advantage in the first jump over and over and over again. And to me, it just felt like UCI kind of crumbled under the pressure. And it speaks to how powerful a position the underdog mentality is, especially coming into a game 5 situation. You know, Western, they had everything to play for, and you heard Short Hop say they were playing for each other as a team. You know, this wasn't a school with lofty expectations. This wasn't a school with a scholarship program. This was, 8 close friends coming together to win a series that, frankly, nobody thought they could win.
Well, yeah, right. 5 dudes and the support staff that are just that good.
Yeah.
So, perks of being in Canada, we were saying, it's colder, your computers overheat less, you got better ping.
True.
They're in the East Coast, so it does actually add up, but overall, it really was the team play. It was the fact that they recognized that the draft was really important. They adapted, dropped the stylus, go back to comfort. We questioned why Oriana 3 games in a row. We understand why. It's their best champion. Everyone understands what Oriana does in their team. Why Caitlyn so many games in a row? Same story. Even the Kled into the top lane. Why no teleport? Why an ignite? Because this is what this man does. He finds your AD carry.
Look at this.
The best player on UCI, solos him out, takes him out of position, and gives the lead right back over to University of Western.
And that's a game-winning play, right? That was absolutely the game-winning play, and Gorica was stepping up the entire series. The top side of the map for Western was absolutely smashing. Him and Julius together, we saw Gorica start off, Youngman flashes away, but Julius is right there to back him up and finish off that kill, and that was happening over and over again this series. And both those guys were so impressive to me. And also, Short Hop, we saw him in the interview, incredibly well-spoken young man. He did a great job containing Youngbin and Bloodwater, him and Blaze Nova both. I thought Julius out-jungled Avi at times this series, and Slasher was handling Desreton. And I think I was talking to Riv before the broadcast that Western was a team that matched up really well against UCI, and that's what people have to understand, that UCI played very well this series. Let's not take anything away from them. They had a fantastic 5-game series. I think all of their players can be proud of that. Just, League of Legends is a game about any given Sunday, right? And today, Western's the better team.
Yeah.
And the thing is, when you're in 5 games in total, so many players show out, but only one can be player of the series. So when you have the weight of pulling off an upset on your shoulders, it takes a whole team to make it to the final. But it helps when you have an all-star in your back pocket, which is why we're giving Gorica player of the series.
And this is a man who is known to be a one-trick Kled, but his Kled was only on game 5. It's not something to believe because Kled is actually quite the difficult champion, which means that he's mechanically very talented and was able to pull off way more plays. You see him here with the Aatrox doing a lot of work. The Akali was great, so he had an entire arsenal. It just so happens that Kled is his pocket pick that you can never forget about.
And they call Niles the baby licorice. I'm calling Gorica the baby Hoonie. Did you see his main top? This guy's playing Vayne, he's playing Kled, all these creative picks, pressuring the lane, and overall, just what a fantastic display.
That's the thing, you hear one trick and you look back at the notes and think, wait, different champ here, different champ there, and Kled was open for an additional game as well, but they chose not to go to it there.
It's a strength in a best-of-5 draft where you know that the opponent has a champion that they prioritize over everything, and it's such a fringe pick that you feel like, do we have to really ban it? Do we have a lot of experience? And so you drop that ban, but it doesn't accomplish a whole lot. The entire composition can still be ran with him having other champions, and it's really nice if you have a team that is known to be all one tricks. Surprise, ban them all. They can still play everything else because they're not one tricks that you can't play anything else. It's a mechanically difficult champion that lets you play everything else as well.
But hey, it's going to be Western in the finals tomorrow. And Maryville took their #1 seeding into this tournament and ran their way to the final, where they'll aim to take back the title of champion versus University of Western Ontario, who just knocked out the reigning champions. And I can't say that enough, to take out those that are riding off the momentum with the documentary, 3 coaches, that title on their back, which does add another element of pressure, though, for them too.
Yeah, absolutely. And going into tomorrow, I'm all eyes on the top lane for me. Niles versus Gorica. This is going to be
so spicy.
Absolutely insane. I can't wait to see what kind of picks these guys pull out. I can't wait to say who's favored in this. And to be honest, the junglers will have a lot to do with this. I think that both junglers are going to be pathing towards topside. Bot lane's going to be on an island. And let's see who wins a 2v2 top.
But I think that's why it benefits University of Western Ontario. If you put top lane, all the pressure there, and you leave bottom lane on an island, I'm going to favor the guy that's playing Caitlyn most of the time, because if you never pressure Caitlyn, she's going to always take advantage of the range of the traps, and you whittle away at some towers, get some plates going, you get past that early game, all of a sudden, once again, we're at a 6-item Caitlyn that's just destroying the map.
Yeah, and Saskio has looked great in this tournament overall, don't get me wrong, but he isn't a pure AD carry player like Shorthop. Shorthop has been playing competitive League of Legends for so many years, and he has 3 picks that he's insane on. His Caitlyn, his Sivir, and his Jinx. Fantastic picks. And Saskio's no slouch either. He's no stranger to the competitive scene. So there's some pressure on him to live up to Shorthop's performance today.
There is a really cool element that comes with watching where some of these players have come from going into the rest of it. But I want to say thank you to both of you for joining me on the desk. Any last thoughts before we close things out today?
Go Canada!
Go Canada!
Go Canada. I guess I have to. I'm on the Maryville team then, I guess. Okay, I'm rooting for Maryville.
All right, well, thank you so much to Crumbs and our coach from Clutch Gaming Academy. We had Coach Doyle. But that does it for our broadcast today. Now, for myself, the casters, and the entire live broadcast crew, thank you for watching. And we'll see you tomorrow for the conclusion of the College Championship and a special high school invitational. Until then, good morning, afternoon, evening, and good night.
Western versus UCI, your returning champs, looking to make it back to the finals. The hometown favorites here on the red side to start versus Western Ontario. Blaze Nova looks like he's good on first. One last auto attack from Youngbin. A lot of hesitation here from Western. It's going to cost them 2 members. A lot of damage now going over onto Captain Nuke. He goes down. Bloodwater's about to fall as well, and Avi is not looking healthy, but they're now able to turn back on a Slasher. Let's see.
Chase, I see you too.
Just relax in your chair, and first of all, lay back. Oh, Dopa!
It's one.
They have rooted down Blaze Nova, abducted back, and now another Lambs spike comes down. Will they be able to use this one efficiently? Short Hop is going to be taken down, rended right out of the game. Great job by Gorica, focusing the backline, trying to do what Vayne does best, but he can't get the kill in. The Zoomies save him again. Western Ontario brings us to a Game 5 against Irvine. Going forward, Bloodwater's now in the eyes of Western Ontario, and would you believe it? Yes!
Let's go, lads.
Western Ontario heads to the finals to take on Maryville University.